Good morning, everybody. Today, inshallah, we are going to complete another part of the Earth chapter. It's about erosion and transport. There is always a misconception between the word weathering and the word erosion. We finished weathering the previous video, and if you remember, it is the wearing away of rocks easily. So what will be the erosion term? Erosion means the movement of the broken pieces away from the site of weathering. It means that after weathering, we will have tiny pieces of rocks. When these pieces of rocks move away from the site of weathering, we call this erosion. Okay. Erosion can happen by some ways like gravity. When fragments fall down slopes, downhills, wind, when it blow tiny rock fragments away from the site of weathering, rain, water, and river, when they wash rock fragments down slopes. What happened when you blew through the straw over the sand? For sure, sand particles will blow away. What happened when you poured water onto the sand? You will find a small channel that open up to carry the sand downhill. This is erosion. Okay. We can find here an example of erosion. These are rocks after they were away here from weathering, they were away. They fell down by gravity, moving away from the site of weathering. This moving away from the site of weathering because of gravity, because they fell down, we call this erosion. Okay, erosion by gravity here. And for sure, if some of these rocks, they were very small in size, so they are carried now by the river to another place, it will be also another type of weathering, another type of erosion, but now by river, not by gravity. Okay. So here you'll find that rivers and streams can move pieces of rock. We call this transport. Erosion can happen through some steps. First is transport. When fast-flowing rivers can transport large rocks, but slowly moving rivers can only transport tiny pieces of rock. When a slope of land gets less steep, what will happen? The river for sure will flow more slowly. Some rocks will settle down on the bed floor since they are too heavy to be carried. This is called the second step after transport, deposition. By the way, this is very close to the sedimentation process, if you remember, the steps of sedimentation. Then you will find here these deposits build up and form sediments, as we said. The sediments for sure at the top were deposited at the bottom deposited before the ones on the top. Down first, then the top. I have another term called abrasion. Abrasion is when some pieces of rocks, while they are in the process of erosion, they are being transported and deposition happen on them. While this process, they will be rubbing against each other. This rubbing will make the borders of these rocks more rounded, like smoothing these borders. The edges will become smoother. We call this process abrasion. We have here an interactive rock cycle. Let's take a look on it. I'll find it here. Look here, this is the magma. and here the top of the volcano. What will happen now? The lava will flow out of the volcano. Let's see how crystallization of magma made and form igneous rocks. Let's see this. See here, coming out, and they start to cool down. You see, cooling down till they form an igneous rock. Okay, let's continue. Then this lava, these rocks, erosion will happen to them. Let's see what's really happening here. You can see some places here. See, erosion on this place, erosion here, erosion here. Let's continue. Transportation of sediment. Let's see how this happened. See the transportation now, helping erosion. See, the river is carrying the rocks. Heavy rocks will settle down quickly, but small rocks and light rocks will continue to a longer move. Let's continue. Find the position of sediments. This deposition, see, rocks are moving, then slow down. Okay. Sand grains settle out where stream flow becomes too slow. Clay-sized particles settle farthest from the shore because they were the smallest in size. Let's continue. What will happen after this? For sure it will be cementation. Yes, cementation. How this exactly happening? These were the sand grains. Then some minerals will be in these places, and by time what will happen? It will form like something like a cement, very strong. Continue. Metamorphism. If you remember metamorphism, metamorphic rocks happen when any type of rock, sedimentary or igneous, are exposed to extremely high temperature and pressure. Let's see how this happened. Metamorphism, you see here. This was an igneous rock. What will happen to it by time? See this place, it will be pressure, deep underground, exposed to high temperature and pressure. Look, you see, it's like squeezed too much, yes, till they form a metamorphic rock from this shape to this shape. Continue. The last step, maybe some of the metamorphic rocks will melt again when they come close to the magma here. Maybe, yes. Okay. Continue here. Let's answer some questions. How are rock fragments formed? Weathering break up rocks into pieces called fragments. How are rock fragments moved? Wind, gravity, rainwater, and rivers. What does deposition mean? Deposition means that the rock fragments settle on the bottom of the river. They can no longer be carried by the river because they are too heavy. Explain why some rock fragments are carried further than others. For sure, the heavier fragments can only be carried for a short distance, while the lighter ones can be carried further. Where there are layers of sediment laid down over many years, which layer is the oldest? For sure, the layer at the bottom. What is meant by abrasion? We said, if you remember, the term abrasion refers to smoothing of rock fragments. When the rock fragments are first formed, they have sharp edges. As the fragments move against each other, rubbing, the sharp edges are worn away and the surface becomes smoother. Thank you.